Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for one final daily dose of Ravnica Remastered spoilers. So this was a weird spoiler season. We got the full set in 2 days, so the whole set's up. You can see it all over at MTGPreviews.com, but we have a ton more cards to tier list today. So like yesterday, since these are all reprints, we're going to mostly be focused on the value of these cards, tier ranking them based on their value, talking about some of the variants and so forth. So we got a ton of stuff to tier list, which means we should probably jump right into it, start tossing cards on the list. Before we do, a quick reminder, if you need some of these cards, you can always snag the singles you need from our sponsor Card Kingdom over at cardkingdom.com/MTGGoldfish. Anyway, let's talk some Ravnica Remastered. So we kick things off today in the A tier, which is a little bit worrying. Yesterday we had two S tier cards in Burvak the Grand Eloquent and also Cyclonic Rift, cards worth more than $25. Today we got the whole rest of the set. There's no more spoilers. This is it. And we didn't get any more cards worth more than $25, which, considering this set's selling at a premium, like $170 to $200 a box, which is like $5 to $5.50 a pack, a little bit worrying that there's not more high-end stuff. It is worth mentioning that we're going by the base versions of the cards, the cheapest versions of the cards. So some of the special treatments, the anime cards, the old border cards, they'll probably be worth more. But really, if you're going to pay close to $200 for a box, only having two really big hitters in the set, in Cyclonic Rift and Burvak, a little bit concerning. And the A tier itself, it's got good cards in it, but price-wise, even that's kind of weak. Most of these cards are on the like $10 to $15 sides of things, rather than the $20 to $25 side of things. So Cloudstone Curio, infamous combo piece, and Commander mostly at this point. Karn Teferi, two very playable modern planeswalkers. Good to see them reprinted. Karn was just banned in Pioneer, although it hasn't really hurt its price at all, because it still sees so much play in Modern. Karlov, an old Commander Precon card. Dark Confidant used to be one of the Chase Is cards in all of Modern. It was like $75-$80 or something, but it's been reprinted a ton of times and also just kind of pushed out of the Modern format, thanks to Orcish Bowmasters, Ren and 6, really punishing you for playing X1s. I do really like the new art though, even if it's a $20, $15 card now rather than a $75 card. Moving on to the B tier, this is $5 to $10 cards, and honestly, if you're paying $5 for a pack, you're not going to be disappointed if you get one of these cards. These are cards that they pay for your pack. You're not going to be thrilled, like if you open a Cyclonic Rift or Burvak or whatever, but still, like, it's pretty reasonable to pay $5 for a pack, get a $5 to $10 card. And here we just have a really huge mix of stuff, ranging from more competitively focused stuff. Infernal Tutor mostly sees legacy play in Ad Nauseam Tendril style decks, Court of Calling, tutoring up combo pieces in Modern or Pioneer, to very commander focused stuff like Ilharg and Hellkite Tyrant, downgraded to rare for the first time. Deathrite Shaman, always good to see more of those. Unbanned in Modern, Watsy, I would really love to see Deathrite unbanned in Modern. So that's the B tier. Moving on to the C tier. This is the I'm pretty disappointed but didn't get fully wrecked here, $2 to $5 cards. And here we got a whole bunch of random stuff. Honestly, I was surprised that Chromatic Lantern is close to $2. Now, that card sees so much play in Commander. I expected it to be worth a lot more, but Wizards has done a really good job of reprinting it. Arclight Phoenix, still a Pioneer staple, sees some Modern play, but it too has been in like a Challenger deck's been reprinted a bunch of times. So some interesting but not super exciting stuff. Then we have the bulk tier. So these are cards that are worth less than $2. These are the really disappointing opens. And we start off with three mythics: Rouse Eric, Domri Raid, and one of my favorites in Maze's End. I do love me some Maze's End. Maze's End, it's such a fun card to build around, but not really valuable if you're cracking open packs. So pretty low-end mythics here. And then we have the bulk rares, and honestly there are a million of them. And my biggest concern for this set, there's really two concerns, and these concerns are really huge when it comes to opening boxes. So first, as we talked about when we kicked off our tier list, there's not a lot of high-end stuff. Like, there's two cards that were S tier worth more than $25 and a few that are worth like $10 to $15 in that price range. So there's not a lot on the top end. There's no, Mana Crypt level stuff where if I get lucky and crack this one thing, it's gonna pay for my box all by itself. If you get lucky in this set, you're getting a Cyclonic Rift level card, which is nice. Never going to complain about cracking a Cyclonic Rift, but still, it's not a super duper, high-end SSS, like best tier possible type card. The other concern I have for this set is, my god, is there a lot of bulk. Like, even discounting the bulk mythics we talked about, the ones we saw yesterday, that's just a huge pile of bulk rares. And these are cards that range from like 30 cents up to like $1.90 or whatever. But really, if you're paying $5 or $5.50 a pack, and so many of the cards are going to be bulk that you're opening in your rare slot, that is a really big concern. And it gets even worse. There's even more bulk rares. I actually maxed out my slideshow. I can only put 20 cards on a slide. I've never done this before. So many bulk rares that I had to split it into 2 different slides because we just overwhelmed the program that I used to make our videos. So there are, by my count, 28 bulk rares spoiled today, combined with a bunch spoiled yesterday, and then a bunch more of the like C tier cards that are not quite bulk, but like just above $2. So that means that I got some big concerns about opening Ravnica Remastered. It feels like it is going to be a really rough set to open. Maybe the special treatment save it. That's the one hope. But if you just go by the base values of these cards, I would not want to be paying $200 a box for this because I'm just not seeing the value. I'm seeing not much high end and then a ton of bulk rares. As far as lower rarity stuff, there are some decent uncommons. So these are the chasest commons and uncommons I could find in the set. Muddle the Mixture is the most expensive at like $350-ish. The rest of them are like $150 to $250. Mayhem Devil sees a lot of play. Wilderness Reclamation, Shattering Spree, Skullcrack Remand. So these cards are nice. Having some value in the uncommon slot is helpful, although if the set's open a bunch, the price is probably going to come down, so not like you're really going to be able to sell your Muddle the Mixture for $350 most likely. So I'm not sure that's enough to save it. So all this to say, if Ravnica Remastered is going to be worth opening, it's going to be because of these cards. It is going to be because of the 2 big special treatments, the Old Border treatment and the anime treatment. And there is some signs that these cards might be way more expensive than you'd think. We've seen like Anime Smothering Tithe, especially the most foil, specialist foil version, be very, very expensive. So some of these cards might pull a lot of value. So I think if you do decide to crack a box of this set, you're not really hoping to get your value from the base versions of the cards. You're really hoping to open the good variants of the cards in Anime or Old Border and trusting that those are really going to carry you over the finish line. So as far as the Old Border cards, there's a whole bunch of them. Deathrite Shaman, the first hybrid card we've seen in Old Border. Curious what you think about that. I actually like it. I've heard some other people really don't like how the hybrid cards lurk in Old Border. I'm excited to get Guild Gates in Old Border for the first time. Gonna Old Border out my mazes end deck. And then the anime treatment, it's not my thing really, but they do look pretty cool and they are often really expensive. And you can see all of these if you head over to mtgpreviews.com. The full set's up, but you can see all the variants, all the Old Border stuff. So anyway, that brings us to the end of our daily Ravnica Remastered spoilers. Not just for the day, but for the entire set. Short spoiler season this time. So I'm really curious what you think. You've seen all the values. We've tier listed them all. Are you going to buy a box? Are you going to buy singles? How are you handling this? Are there any special variants in specific you're hyped for? Any reprints in specific you're hyped for? And before I get too doom and gloomy, I mean, remember, we're getting more Shocklands, which is huge. Even if this set is not one that's super great for opening, just the fact that there's going to be more Shocklands out there to keep prices down and make the game accessible, that's a huge, huge win for players. So remember, even if you look at this set and you're like, I don't think cracking a box of this one is for me, you're still probably going to benefit by some of these sweet variants and also by Shocklands, hopefully getting even cheaper. So anyway, that's Ravnica Remastered. That's been our video for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back in a month or so, I guess, when we get back to Murders at Karlov Manor spoilers. So until then, have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon. Looking for even more magic? Well, you can find yesterday's daily spoiler video here, or maybe check out the video where I explain the MTG iceberg.